Hey gang, how are you? So I figured today what we're going to do is we're going to review all my Promptober drawings that I did in the month of October for the Promptober challenge for the Draw a Die Club. And we're going to go over it and look at everything I did. And I'm going to have criticisms, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I felt worked, and what I felt did not work, and why, and just go through um, what you know, what I feel I could have done better, and what happened. What happened with me is that I think some of the pieces I worked on a little too long, and I ended up falling behind, and then I put in the extra work and finally caught up. And but it was hard. It wasn't easy. So if you see me to my right or to my left, I've got notes, so don't mind me. I'm going to refer to them, and then I'm going to show you every piece, and we'll talk a little bit about it, and I'll tell you, my thought process for it, and what I did, what I did with it. For the challenge, what I did was I wrote down all the challenges, and then my main idea was to think outside of the box. And I feel I accomplished that. And with that, a lot of it was like inspiration. And it was like, what do I do with, I just don't want to draw this, or I just don't want to draw that, because when you read the prompt, the first thing that comes to mind is whatever it was. And I thought, okay, let me think a little bit harder and just, try and think out of the box. Also, what happened is when I fell behind, it helped me adapt my plan, and I was like, okay, so how can I do this differently than what I wanted to do? My intention was to paint 31 pieces, whether it was watercolor or gouache, and it didn't work out that way. I did paint some pieces, but what happened is there was a lot of mixtures. There was a lot of marker drawings in there, but there was gouache, watercolor, colored pencil, to help me get the artwork done. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. I'll explain my feelings. And I think that overall, it was a success for me, because I learned how to paint better. And I also learned that, guess what? I can do it. I can do 30 pieces of artwork, 31 pieces of artwork in a month. And a lot of these pieces I did in a couple of hours. They're not big. You'll see when I show them to you. They're not that big. But I felt that if I could do this, and I've done the Inktober challenges and given up halfway through, because I felt that sometimes I got a little too ambitious, and I was unable to do it, and I gave up halfway through. This is the only time I've done a challenge like this and actually finished it all. So, yeah, I really feel good about that. And to the others that participated in the challenge and finished up, way to go. We all hit a goal, which was to get all the pieces done in 31 days, and you did it. So congratulations, I did it. Congratulations to me. And let's get started, and we'll start off with, here's the list. I don't know if you can see it. It's all the different prompts, and we're going to start. And the first one was Headless Horseman. And with that, I didn't want to do the generic Headless Horseman. So I thought, Headless Horseman, right? Horseman that came up with a centaur. And this is the piece. Headless Horseman and a centaur. And it actually worked out almost exactly as I had it in my head. I did a couple little thumbnail sketches, and it worked out, and I thought, cool, and I liked it. And as for a start-off piece, for the very first day, I really thought that I hit a home run with it. I was like, yeah, I really like this. So, I don't know if you can actually see that. I'm going to do that. But there it is. And that's one. I like it. I used, there's watercolor in there, some gouache, marker, and colored pencil. So that's the technique, and I'll pull it in a little bit more so you can get a better look at it. There you go. Don't mind me, I'm just trying to not tilt my head up so you see this part, you see the rest of my face and not my stupid neck. So there's that. That's piece one. Second day was, that's one scary doll. And I didn't want to do, I didn't want to do like a China doll, porcelain doll, Raggedy Ann. The initial idea was to do a Barbie doll, and then I thought, well, people, one of the things that came back into fashion or fad or whatever you want to say was the little troll dolls. So I figured, all right, let me do a troll doll and make them really scary. And this is it. And I like it. It came out pretty well done. The hair I'm not satisfied with. I think I should have maybe, done it that way and going out this way. But blood running from the eyes, the pointy teeth, and I added the boxer shorts with the hearts as a little comedy. And speaking of that, what I did was with that, some of the pieces went from me being serious to being funny, and that actually helped me accomplish some more pieces instead of looking at it as, oh, they all have to be serious pieces. No, I added some humorous stuff, and the ideas worked out even better than what I had initially wrote down. Because when I wrote the prompts down, right next to it, I wrote the ideas like the centaur for the first piece and the troll for this piece. The comedy pieces actually, I feel, worked out better for me. So this is it's marker, colored pencil, and I use gouache for the hair. So that's piece number 2. Number 3 is The Dead or Alive. And what do you think? Zombies, right? My initial thing was the Grateful Dead. And then I thought, okay, Grateful Dead, zombies. Who's the leader of the band? Everybody knows it, Jerry Garcia. And this is what I came up with. And I'm really proud of this one because it actually worked out really well for me. I painted it in gouache and some watercolor and a little colored pencil. But out of all of them, I think this is the one. Besides the centaur one, this is my favorite because from the reference I used, which is a famous picture of Jerry Garcia holding the guitar. I painted it and then I showed it to a few people and they immediately knew who it was. So I felt good about that. Which, that's the thing. Recognition. If people look at the art and they understand, they go, oh yeah, that really helps out a lot. Because if you're trying to convey something and you do it and show it to somebody and they go, no, I don't get it, then the idea isn't coming across. But this, like I said, is my favorite piece. It came across, it came out really well. I spent a little more time on it than I should have, but because I liked it so much, that's why I did it. And I really like it. I really, really do. So the next one is Thirsty Bloodsucker. And the thing for that, my immediate idea was a leech, a big leech or a big worm or something like that. And, I don't know. I was just like, I had different ideas. Here is my initial sketch that I did on a piece of paper, and I thought, okay, let me roll with that. It was kind of a combination of what I wanted. Gave it, I was going to do a bloodthirsty leech. I gave it a jaw and some eyes and all like that. So that's one of the sketches that I did for that, and then I turned it into this. And this came out pretty well. It's a combination of watercolor, gouache, and some markers. And the background, I was trying for to make it look like that he was in a cave. I don't know if I conveyed it that well, but The color worked for me, so. And then the colors for this, and then all the teeth. The teeth, I think, is what made it, besides the eyes. And a lot of people seem to like this one, so I was satisfied. So that was number 4. So number 5 was creepy and crawly, and the immediate thing you think of creepy and crawly is a spider, and I wanted to do like a woman, kind of a black widow, and I thought, well, let me put her head on a black widow body, a spider's body. I don't know. I did a couple of sketches. I didn't like it, and I just thought, okay, let me just do her face and progress from there. And as I progressed from there, I thought spider's legs, and they're instead of her head on being on her body, they have the legs like up by her face or coming out of her hair, and I end up doing it like this, coming out of her hair, having the cobwebs behind her and in her hair, and then the thing of like spiders crawling out of her face, out of her eye, and one dripping down out of her mouth, the other one on top of her head, and it worked out. You know, it's a combination of colored pencil and watercolor. So that's creepy and crawly. So I like the way that come out. So the next one was a haunted house. And how many haunted houses have we seen? How many haunted houses have been painted? Millions and millions. You know, from the Psycho house, which is, you know, famous for the movie, but like, you know, you have other haunted houses from Disney. You have the haunted house, you know, like the Addams Family. If you've seen that TV show, the house looks haunted and all like that. And I thought, I'm going to do something different. And the thing I went with was, I'm going to draw a haunted house and make it look like I'm 6 years old and I'm drawing a haunted house. And I decided to do it that way because just to show that I could vary my style and do a piece that would be very simple and look like a child did it, and a child's idea of what a haunted house would look like. And I did a couple of quick sketches, and this is what I came up with. Now, a lot of people, some of the people I talked to were like, nah, you didn't draw that. Well, guess what I did? On my YouTube channel, on this channel, is the video of me actually drawing this. So, yeah, I did it. And it came out pretty good. And I like it. I tried to make it look like it was drawn on loose leaf paper, but because I colored it all, I colored the background and all like that, you don't get the feeling of the loose leaf paper. If you look real close here, you'll see I did the circle and the red line and all, but I should have left it white, but I colored it all in, and all I used was crayons, you know, crayons, and I colored it in. It's kind of cute. I like the way it came out. It wasn't really that complex, and it looks like a little kid drawing, and that's what I was shooting for. So I succeeded on that. The next one is Sharp Teeth and Hungry, and vampire, and who's one of the comics' most famous vampires is Vampirella. And that's all. I liked the reference I had for the face, so I just did that, gave her red eyes, put the moon in behind her and a dark background. And basically, it's colored pencil and some watercolor. And this is one of the ideas where the piece just spoke to me, and it was just like, Vampirella. Just do Vampirella and don't worry about it. I could have done Dracula, but I was like, nah, Vampirella's a little more sexy. So, sexier than Dracula. So I did that, and a lot of people were like, oh, that's pretty good. Was that so-and-so? Did you use this model for reference? I was like, no, I just used a a woman's angry face. That's what I looked up, and I just added teeth to it. So, and it worked out. It's one of the pieces, one of the other pieces, like I said, that worked out for me. And I'll show you one that I struggled with, but it worked out. And the next one on there is the car was cursed. And if you've ever read any of the Stephen King novels, Christine, the car being possessed and being cursed and all like that, I wanted to do something a little bit different. And I wanted to do like a car that if you got into, you disappeared forever. You know, like the car would show up like out of the fog, and you get into the car and you disappear forever and you become a ghost. And this is what I came up with. So with this piece, I'm kind of satisfied and I'm not. And the reason I'm satisfied with the initial drawing of the car and the ghost-like figure on the inside. And then when I was painting it, I used watercolor and gouache, and I was trying to get a greenish, misty, kind of foggy type effect. I don't feel I really got it. I feel, like the values, like this part of the value of the fog should be light, but it should be darker in some certain areas to give it a little more depth. And, you know, I struggled with it. I really did, you know, trying to paint it. In the end, it was okay. I was like, all right, you know, I have to settle for it, you know. But I learned something was that, you know, when I went to do research on painting fog, and I looked up some of the YouTube videos, was after I finished this, it was like the values of dark against light and even mid-tone values. I don't have enough for me. You know, people say, oh, it's a nice thing. You know, I get it. I do too, and maybe I'll do another one and take it a little bit further. I don't know, but that was the idea, and the initial idea worked, but I feel the execution, the finishing of the idea really didn't. So you know, satisfied, yeah. You know, do I know that I can do better? Sure. You know, I learned something, and that's part of the thing that's good, is that I learned something during the entire month while I was doing all these drawings and paintings and even just sketches and markers. So that's that one. The next one up is It's Big and Not Happy. And I didn't want to just do Frankenstein. I didn't want to do Godzilla. I didn't want to do King Kong. I just figured something big, and one of the things, like I said, I'm thinking outside of the boxes. Well, what's pretty big? And I thought the heads on Easter Island. Well, what would make them unhappy? They're stuck because as you see the heads, they're all up to here, you know, and that's all you see, and they can't get out of the ground. So that made them big and unhappy, and that's what I came up with. And that's colored pencil, gouache. And yeah, that's it. Colored pencil and gouache. And this one, I'm not satisfied with, only because I feel the angle of the head. Like, if you look at one of the Easter Island heads, they're all like, you know, they're like this, and you know, they're tilted to a certain way. And I tried to get underneath, up above this way, and I feel I didn't succeed. So to me, this is one of the pieces where I got it done. The technique, the stone, the sky, the grass, and all like that. The technique worked, helped me with the final presentation, final finished piece. But overall, I'm not happy with it because I feel that I failed with the drawing, the immediate drawing. C'est la vie, right? Such is life. You know, you move on. But you know, I got it done, and like I said, it's, you know, the lesson here is that, like I said, learning to live with stuff and let it go, and I know I can do better. And next time when something comes up like that, maybe do a little more research on heads as they appear this way, and a little more time spent drawing will probably help with the execution and the finalization of the piece. So, next up is a witchy woman. So, I was going to try do something really stylized with this. Don't mind me, I'm trying to find a piece of art that I originally did. And I got too wrapped up in trying to be, I want to do something really flashy, something really different. I was actually trying to shoot for some sort of mix between my style and an anime style and kind of adapt. And this is the initial drawing that I came up with. And it's okay. There we are. It's a better shot of it. It's okay. I don't think it was, I want to say, manga orientated, or I felt flashy enough. I don't know. I was like, I wasn't happy with it. So I decided I changed the drawing, and I came up with this, but as you can see, it's unfinished. And I was going to give her long hair, and I started to paint it, and I was struggling. I really was. I was like, it just wasn't coming out right for me, and I just wasn't happy with it. And I was like, what do I do? So I started over, and redid the drawing, redid the hair, and ended up with, ta-da, that. I wanted the pink hair. Don't ask me why I was attached to the pink hair. I should have changed. After I finished the peach, I was like, okay, I should have changed the pink hair to green to match the background, and the bodice to green to match the background. The symbolism and all like that, I did it in marker, and after I got done, because I wanted it to stand out against, but I also wanted like an ethereal, like misty type of, where you could almost see through the symbols as she's casting the spells. And again, didn't exactly work out, but I like this piece. I like it better than that, and this one I really wasn't really happy with. So I want to revisit this to see if I can do something, like just redraw it and see if I can just do flat colors and see what happens, and maybe make it work. But that's my witchy woman, and that's it. Next up, we have, I'm losing my list here, the Spirits of Restlessness. Now here's where I decided to use some humor, because you could have done a billion different things with the Spirits of Restless. Charles Dickens, where the ghosts are all going through the city, coming up out of the graveyard, they're not resting and all like that. And I thought, rest, what do you do when you rest? You put your head on a pillow. And then I was watching TV as I was trying to come up with some ideas, and of course what happens is the My Pillow guy shows up, and I was like, there's my answer. So I figured I'd go humorous with this, and this is what I came up with. 3 ghosts yelling at him because he says that, oh, you get a best night's sleep ever with my pillow. No, want my money back. And he's like, never had 3 ghosts come up to me and say, my pillows don't work. So, I hope everybody got a little laugh out of it. I did, But, that was it. That was one of the ideas where I was like, I'm not going to be serious. I'm going to try and be a little humorous. And I feel it worked. Next up, Fire and the Fury. And what I initially had come up with was, what I thought about this was fire and fury, not exactly like, angry, but I wasn't thinking along the lines like Human Torch kind of angry fire and fury. I was thinking more lava, like lava man or lava woman, and I decided to do a lava woman, and this is what I came up with. And I like the way the hair worked out and the cracks in the face, you know, like you would see lava and all like that. The only thing that I feel that I should have done, but here's where I just, maybe I didn't take enough time to plan this out, was I felt I should have done this through the face and down through here. More cracks and maybe some lava spilling out over here and over there. I can redo it. I may. But, you know, I'm pretty satisfied with the way this came out. You know, and I feel it got the point across. Fire and fury. Fury being rage and anger, and the fire, you know, explosion, and then it's like, oh, you know, I didn't do the drips, and oh well, I you know, do again, keep trying, but oh, sorry, all gouache on that one. So the next one up is Dark and Stormy. And my immediate reaction for Dark and Stormy was, if you're ever a fan of Charlie Brown and the Peanuts comic strip, Charles Schulz, long time ago, I want to say late 60s, early 70s, his thing was with Snoopy on his doghouse all the time, and he was always, he gave him a typewriter and he was always typing stuff. And the most famous thing was Snoopy typing, "It was a dark and stormy night." So with that, I went with that, and dark and stormy night, and I thought, Dark Knight, take off on the Frank Miller Dark Knight pose that he did. So I did Snoopy in Woodstock, Dark and Stormy. And it came out pretty good. You know, a lot of fun. And again, not a serious art piece. You know, a little more fun to it. You know, and it's all marker. You know, this is where the idea came across, and it all flowed, and I was able to do it without too many rough little sketches that I do, thumbnails, and just basically look at what Frank Miller did and just adapt it to a simple style, and it worked. Next one is Back for Revenge, and the only thing I could think of, you know, I struggled with this one too. The only thing I could think of, really, the ultimate revenge tale is The Crow. And, you know, he gets murdered and he comes back and he gets his vengeance. This is watercolor and colored pencil. I like it and I don't like it. The only thing I don't really care for is I used white colored pencil with the hair. I really don't, I'm not sure if it worked enough. My thing is, looking at it now, I may have just left it out and maybe went a little bit darker with the hair and just, you know, but I felt just doing it in black and white and just doing the face itself with some halftones draws you in. And I think that if I had just done the hair like jet black and maybe made the background just a hair darker, like I said, like I talked about before, the values with the car in the fog, if I had made the values of the background maybe a little bit darker, maybe it would have popped more. But I'm satisfied with it, you know. And there's going to be a ton of things that, you know, throughout the entire month I was satisfied and dissatisfied with stuff, but overall I was satisfied. The Sea Has a Secret is the next one, and my initial thing for that was basically a Pandora's box. You know, a Pandora's box opening at the bottom of the ocean, and I thought maybe I'll have some monsters to it. Maybe I'll you know, something, the Kraken, right? And I just went, man, it's a little too ambitious. I'm not going to have enough time to do it. And I was already behind at that point. because I spent time on other stuff and was having problems with some of my art, which we all run into. And I was like, I got to think, and I'm thinking of the sea, and I'm thinking sailors, and I thought pirates. I thought, okay, and maybe a pirate would be a good thing to maybe talk about the secrets of the sea. So that's what I came up with. I came up with the pirate, and I decided to do it just in two-tone, so it kind of feels like kind of old, like an old piece of parchment paper, and I got a pretty good reference on a bearded guy, and basically he says, the sea has a secret, but the pirates will never tell you what it is. And it worked out. And the two tones, this is a way of doing something where it doesn't have to be full color, and your point, you still get your point across, you still get the drawing across, you still get the feeling across. You can use like sepia. I used ochre, gouache, and colored pencils, brown colored pencils and all, to get that kind of old time, parchment papers type feeling for it. And I think it worked out well. Next up is Big, Hungry, and Hairy. And my immediate thing was Sasquatch. And I was like, everybody's going to do Sasquatch. I want to do something different. And I thought, okay. I thought of like maybe a burly guy eating, wings. Big, hungry, hairy. Oh, let's have some wings and all like that. And I thought, well, let me think about it a little bit more. And even though I don't think they eat a lot. I don't know about their habits, but I decided to use a buffalo eating buffalo wings. I went a little humorous with it, and this is what I came up with. And he's got a big bib, all you can eat wings, and he's got the fork and the knife. I'm ready, let's eat. So a little bit humorous with that, and it came out pretty good. Teeth are askew because he's like grinding his teeth like he's ready, like I'm ready to chow down. Let's go. So I'm pretty satisfied with that, the way it came out. It's squash, and I initially used marker, and I was like, no, and I went back over it with some gouache and some colored pencil. Big, hungry, and hairy. I like the way it worked out. Next up, skeleton soldier. And I just thought, my initial idea was like those miniature tin soldiers that you see, and I was going to have like a little kid's hand, but instead of it being, a soldier, it would have been a skeleton style soldier. A little too ambitious. It took a little bit too long time, and I just thought, okay, let me just do soldier, like a helmet and a skeleton, and his face is broken up, and there's an explosion in the background, and this is what I came up with. And it came out, it worked out okay. The only thing that my thing was maybe I should have added some more reds back here. I don't know. For the explosion, the dented helmet, and he's missing pieces here, and this is all askew, and the tattered shirt. And maybe some red could have, but I don't know. Wasn't too sure, so I figured, okay, I guess. But, it worked out. I'm satisfied with it. And it's colored pencil and watercolor for the background and gouache colors for the skeleton and the helmet. So, that's Skeleton Soldier. Next prompt was digging a grave. And this is where I really got ambitious, because I did, and I won't bother showing them to you, I did about 8 sketches, and they all involved The Undertaker from the WWE. I was going to do him digging a grave, maybe have the gravestone have Kane's name on it. I was going to have him and Paul Bearer standing over a grave that's already dug with McMahon's name on it. And I had all these ideas, and I was just like, oh boy, it's not good, because it was too ambitious. And the other thing I thought of was him crawling out of grave with his name on it. And I really liked that, and I was like, oh, that'd be great. Yeah, it's going to take too long. So here's another way. I thought, okay, let me go a little bit humorous, and what would be more funny than seeing a sign at a graveyard, a cemetery, and got people saying, please be careful, we're digging our graves. You know, oh, could you imagine going, you know, you're going to a funeral, and oh, what you doing? Oh, just digging a grave. Oh, please be careful, don't fall in. So I figured, well, maybe they would have a sign around. And this is what I came up with. Please be careful, grave digging in progress. And I used the little silhouette guy like you would see on the, handicap accessible going into the bathroom, all like that, and then the grave. So, the only thing I really don't care is I'm not great at lettering, so I'm not happy about the lettering. And I just, other than that, I thought it was a funny idea. I hope everybody laughed. I laughed, and then I was like, yeah, maybe the Undertaker thing I should have done. No, I don't know. It worked out for me. I liked it. You know, it was like I said. You know, my mindset was serious, and I thought, no, I need to throw a little humor in there because not every piece is not every piece I'm going to hit a home run with, and you know, does it have to be serious all the time? No, let's have some fun with it. So I had some fun with that, and then the next one, the next one is lizard for brains, and I just like, I thought, what is DJ thinking when he put this prompt on? Lizard for brains. I don't have nothing. So again, I thought, what would be humorous? And I thought, okay, somebody who didn't have a brain, Frankenstein. Frankenstein didn't have a brain. And I thought, well, lizard for brains, what do I do? Do I do a bunch of lizards inside his head? And then I thought, who's the lizard that we see the most on TV? The Geico guy. And I thought, maybe I'll do him with a remote control, and you see a silhouette of Frankenstein in the background, stomping around, and him going, I got this, follow me this way, and all like that. And then I thought, well, that takes away from, well, it's not lizard for brains, you know. So what I did was I came up with him being on top of Frankenstein, and leading him along the way. And this is what I came up with. And it says, tally-ho, forward march. And it's just the Geico guy leading Frankenstein. So, I thought it was a neat idea, and I kept everything black and white, and then the only color is you see. So your eyes immediately drawn to him, and you're like, oh, what's he doing? Taking Frankie out for a walk. Don't go too far. You get lost. Okay, so the next one is, it has wings and it's hungry. And I thought, you know what? I did the buffalo one, big, hairy, and hungry. And I thought, and I guess DJ had hunger on the brain because he did a couple of things like that. And I thought, well, I want to do something different. Came up with another humorous idea to be the complement to the buffalo eating buffalo wings or chicken wings. And I came up with the wise guy of them all, Foghorn Leghorn. And what's his bib say? All you can eat buffalo burgers. And I liked it. It's real easy. It's all done in marker. And he's like, well, you want to eat some wings? Let me eat some burgers. Two can play that game. And that's the idea I went with. And came out really well and really quickly done. And I like it. You know, like I said, not everything's going to be serious. And the next one is robots are taking over. And this was another ambitious piece. I was going to do just a bunch of robots marching towards you. I'm like, yes, we're taking over. And I thought, you know, what if they were slowly taking over by us letting them, you know, do different things for us? Could be a maid, could be this, could be a mechanic. And I settled for a worker in a fast food restaurant. And, you know, how may I serve you? And initially that would be the thing. And then they would end up taking over because they would just ingratiate themselves, kind of Westworld style. They look like us, but they're actual robots, and they take over. So this is marker, colored pencil, and what I tried to do here was kind of make it like a neon sign, and it didn't really work out. And I thought, well, maybe it would be like kind of like her speaking to you, only it would be like neon-esque. I don't know. I tried for neon signs. It didn't work out that well. I just went with that and colored it in, and that was the idea. You know, how may I serve you? And it's a robot. What did I say? Marker and colored pencil, right? Yep. And it's, for me, it's the idea was good, the execution was okay, and I could have done. I had more time. I probably would have painted it, and it would probably come out better. But that's okay. You live and you learn. The next one was a tough one. It's small and it wants to kill you. Was the prompt, and I had nothing. Nothing. Not one iota what to do. You could do a tiny million, little bug, little ant, little hornet, whatever. I just didn't have an idea. And then I thought, I don't know where I this came out of left field, was if you're a fan of the comics and you like Frank Cho, he's done those outrage covers where he draws a sexy woman on the cover and has him doing something, and then in the background, Spider-Gwen is crying outrage because of something or other. So I figured, all right, let me do a fake cover of a comic called The Outrage of Frank Cho. And that's what I did. And I came up with another humor piece where it's Frank Cho. He's complaining that there's no buxom beauties on the cover. And he claims outrage. And then it's small, it wants to kill you, is the creature called the Dot. So I just, like I said, I thought it was funny. A couple of people I talked to kind of laughed. I hope Frank Cho forgives me for the, semi-likeness of him. And that was the point to it. Humor, and, he does humor with all the outrage covers. And that's what I was going for. But not his buxom beauties. Just the creature known as the Dot. Okay, what is next? Oh, was it man or animal? And the first thing I thought of was a werewolf. And then that got me thinking to other creatures that, you could do a million different things with it. You could do an elephant, a rhino, a tiger, or whatever. And I ended up doing a jaguar man. And I really like the way this came out. I did an initial sketch of it, which was this, which led to this. Because I felt that this face was a little too fat for that, and I felt, jaguars are usually lean, mean, and so I used the reference from a jaguar and a man's face with him, with his mouth open, like kind of growling, and gouache. I used all gouache for it, except for the whiskers. The whiskers I had to use one of those gel pens, white gel pen, to get the whiskers going across. But like the Jerry Garcia one earlier, this is one of my favorites too, because it came out exactly as I envisioned it. So satisfied with that. So the next one is better call your mummy. So, well, the first thing I thought of was mummy was female mummy, and ancient Egypt, and I thought hieroglyphs and da 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 da. And what happens when we're on the phone? The autocorrect. Every time you're trying to type a word and it inserts, you're trying to say that and it inserts these or something else, and you're like, man, come on, you dumb. So that's where my idea came from, and this is what I came up with. Now this one was kind of, I wanted to paint her, and like I said, I was behind. I didn't have enough time, so I basically painted the background and used markers to finish that off. And the idea is the same, is that you have all the hieroglyphs and she's trying to type it on the phone. And it's like, no, you stupid autocorrect. I said this, not this. And, little humor and a little serious with the mummy. I don't think she'd look that beautiful after 1,000 years, but, magic works wonders. Next one is the Grimmest of Reapers. Now, you want to talk about ambitious. My ambition was, there's a statue of, I think it's called the Pieta or Pieta, which is basically the Virgin Mary holding Christ off of, after he's come down off the cross in her arms, and he's laying there, and she's mourning him. And I was going to do something similar to that, using 2 Grim Reapers, basically. And it was way too ambitious. I was like, no way am I going to be able to paint this thing and not get further behind. And that was the one thing that was bugging me the entire month. Once I really got into some of the painting, some of the drawing on some of these things, I just, I got lost, and I didn't manage my time correctly, and I fell behind. And I was just trying to catch up. And then when I finally did catch up, I felt vindicated, because I was like, well, I fell behind. That was my fault. Catch up is all on me, and I did it. So I figured, let me try something different, a little bit humorous. And I came up with Grim Reaper trying to look grim. And somebody says, not working, buddy. And this is what I came up with. And she says, hey, what you doing? Oh, I'm trying to look really grim. You gotta have a face to do that. Oh, man, I didn't think about that. So, and I did it. She's full color. He's black and white, because of, I wanted the stark contrast between the color. And you usually see the Grim Reaper skull and bones and the hood. And I kind of tried to do an pen and ink style where you would get different, the heavier lines to give you the different values and show you the folds. And then the background is watercolor. But that's it. Another humorous piece, whereas, a lot of times, sometimes if you're being too serious, the idea is just really bounding in your head, and it ends up overwhelming you, and you end up losing track of what you want to do. So that's why I think the humor was helpful to me in completing these prompts. The next up is, it had an accent. It was angry. And again, the first thing I thought of was Lizzie Borden. And I thought, everybody's going to do that, or they're going to do some sort of lumberjack guy and all like that. And I thought, well, what upsets us? And I thought of the mummy piece that I did with the autocorrect, and I thought, okay, what if somebody did a post on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or something like that, and you're expecting, hey, I think this is cute, or I think this, look at what I did, and this is really, and you don't get a lot of luck. And you're like, man, people didn't respond. How come? And, well, guess what happened? This is what I came up with. Mr. Emoji, not happy because he didn't get enough likes. And what I basically did was put the emoji face on a hulking body, and with all the emojis that are on there, the different ones you can do, they're all basically yellow, a generic color. You can change the colors now to whatever color you want it to be, but I figured I would just follow through, put an axe in his hand, and as you know, with the emoji and the symbolism, tried to, make it work. So that was the idea, and like I said, the humor is part of the thing that helped me get through, because like I said, not every piece being serious, and I'm not going to show all these in a gallery, are you? No, not today, nor ever. But anyways, don't mind me, I'm being stupid and goofy. All right, so the next one is That Clown Ain't Funny. And scary clown. Millions of people out there hate scary clowns, including my daughter. She can't stand them, not one iota. And I figured, all right, well, clowns, everybody can do types of clowns. And my initial thought was court jester. And that's the way I went. And this is what I came up with. And a lot of people, my intention was always to do black and red court jester. My intention wasn't to invoke Harley Quinn. But a lot of people said, hey, that's her colors, you should have done her. And I'm like, that's not what I wanted. But I understood, that these colors invoked that feeling, and maybe I could have. I wasn't thinking that way. So what I did was I did flat colors here, and then I did more detailed colored pencil on the character, and made it to make them look scary. And another piece that I really liked, and the background, I used markers just to do the laughter. Another piece that I really liked, I thought really worked out for me really well. The idea came across. And the next one was, she seemed possessed. And anybody that, including me, that's gone to Catholic school and has had to deal with nuns, and you know what I'm talking about. Like, sometimes they get really angry, and you're like, oh boy, she's possessed by the Holy Spirit and really wants to make her point across. Well, I just figured that I would go the opposite way, her being possessed by a demon, and this is what happened. Kind of mad, I think. She's really mad, not because, the kids are bothering her. They canceled Saturday Night Bingo. No, she's really mad. And it worked out really well. It's watercolor and gouache. And I gave her a nose ring just to be irreverent. Yeah. Forget it. Irreverent. There it is. Came out. Finally got it out. And, yeah. Another piece that I like, sometimes the simplest things you think that are going to take too long actually work out better because you're on point and the idea is just flowing through you. Okay, so the next one is It Came from the Swamp. And boy, did I really want to do a swamp woman, like all muddy and all stuff like that. And this is my initial sketch for it. Sorry about that. This is my initial sketch. I was going to have her all muddy and all, all swampy and, all that browns and green. And I thought, what's in a swamp? Again, it was a little too ambitious. And I thought, okay, comes out of a swamp, crocodile. And I thought, okay, let me do a simple crocodile drawing, and it'll get the piece to, it should get the idea across. And I thought, okay, just like the nun possessed, I'll do a possessed crocodile. And this is it. Very simple, very basic. 2 colors, red and green. I used gouache for that and some colored pencil. And I was happy with the way it came out. wasn't overly rendered. Just, you get it's crocodile. It's coming for you, and his eyes are blood red. He ain't human. Well, we know he ain't human, but he's definitely possessed. Next one is deal with the devil, and says to me, either you've got a contract you're signing with the devil, or you're playing cards with the man, and you're going to win or you're going to lose. And I had done a piece a while ago of the Joker at a gaming table, and he's holding up the Queen of Hearts, and I have the aces and eights in front of him, which is called the Dead Man's Hand, which is Wild Bill Hickok. When he got shot dead, he was playing cards, and that was what was in his hand. He had the aces and the eights and the Queen of Hearts. So I went with that, and all I did was I changed it from the Joker piece that I had to the devil. And just to get it done, I used marker and colored pencil. And it's the devil at a gaming table. Another idea that I felt, came out right away. And then the last piece is All Hail the Pumpkin King. And with that, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I felt a lot of people were going to do Jack Skellington or some sort of Pumpkin King with, a Reaper's axe or butcher knives or something like that. And I wanted to do something different, and I thought of King and a crown and all like that. And I guess the idea flowed over from the devil thing about the playing cards. So what I did was I figured I will come up and draw the Pumpkin King as a playing card. And that's what happened. And I wanted it to be garish colors, not the traditional colors like you would see on a king playing card. So it's why I have, he's got a black shirt that says King on it, the blood stains, the bats, and then the hex symbols on the sleeve, and then just the crown and the moon in the background. And that is the last piece in Promptober. All in all, how do I think I did? I think I did pretty decently. Like I said, some things I was overly ambitious. Sorry, I don't mean to be looking away. I'm just trying to put this stuff in order. Overly ambitious on some of the stuff, and that ate up a lot of time. And that was my fault. I added humor, and the humor helped because it helped me do some pieces and it helped me catch up and do certain things. The change in the ideas, don't mind me, I'm reading for some notes that I wrote down. They were a little too ambitious, and when the idea, it was a struggle, I rethought what was going on, and it actually led to a different piece of work, which, as an artist, a lot of times that's what happens. We get stuck on a piece, and it's not working for us, and either you talk to somebody, or you think a little bit harder, and you try and think out of the box, and you get a different idea, and that helps out. The humor, like I said, the humor is the thing that, I thought I should be serious with all the pieces, and then I felt like, well, why can't I be humorous? There was no parameters other than DJ saying, this is the prompts you have to do for that particular day. And he said, you could do a full piece, you could do a pencil drawing, you could do a concept drawing. It didn't matter. So, okay, so there's no parameters on it. I threw some humor in there, and I hope people like the fact that I injected some of the humor in there. Learning to step away from the piece and take a break. You step back from it, and in this way, you get a fresh perspective to it, and you'll be able to look at it with fresh eyes. Even if you step away for 15 minutes and go back and go, oh, okay, I understand why that's not working for you, or working for me, or working for you. It just gives you a fresh look. And sometimes what I did the one time was, when I was struggling with something, I put it aside, started working on another piece completely, and just let that percolate in my brain, and finished the other piece, and then went back to it, and then I was able to look at it with a fresh perspective. I gained confidence during the month with my painting, which is what I wanted to. That was my initial thing. Was I wanted to paint 31 pieces for the entire month. I didn't get there. I got there on a lot of it, but it showed me that yes, I could do it. Yes, I can do it. If I put my mind to it. Sorry, the seat's a little. Put my mind to it. I can get it done. I can do it. I know I can do it, and I just proved it to myself. And I think everybody else that was involved in this Promptober drawing challenge, I want them to realize, as I realized, you can do it. 2, if you put your mind to it and you're disciplined about it, you can do it. And 3, yes, you can conquer what you set out to do. I did. I learned some techniques with my painting. I learned not to be too serious about doing things, and I learned that that execution is part of getting the job done. And if you rush, you're going to poorly execute some things, and it's not going to work out. So with that, I felt like if I had a good enough idea and I did a really a good drawing, that everything else would fall into place. And most of the time it happened. And when I got stuck, it was because I probably didn't think it all the way through. But I was able to find answers, and that was a good thing. So it was the first time that, like I said, I've done the Inktober challenges, and I've never completed them. And I think the reason that I didn't complete it a lot of times is because it was a little too ambitious. I made it a little too ambitious. I expected to do this, wow, this big, beautiful, people are going to go crazy. I'm going to go crazy because I drove myself nuts, because I was like, it's got to be this way. No, not necessarily. Sometimes simpler is better. Complex sometimes leads to frustration, which leads to stress, which will lead to you being like, nope, no, I'm not going to do it. Done. Quit. Over and done with. And thinking outside of the box helped. I just think that the most important thing was, for me, getting the challenge done. What did I learn? And how do I feel about all the stuff that I finished? Got it done. Check. How do I feel? Overall, I'm proud of everything I did. What did I learn? I was able to do what I set out to do. And you feel accomplished. And that's a really good feeling. When I got done, I was like, wow. I did it. I can't believe I did it. Because I've done freelance artwork, and I've had schedules, and I've always met them, and it's just like this is a fun thing, and even Inktober or Drawtober, whatever they call it, they want to do, Painttober. I never finished it. I never finished it because I stressed myself out too much, and I thought even DJ said various times on his Instagram, take it easy, guys. It's not a stressful thing. Just do it. Just do. And if even I don't care if you do something little or something simple and it's a concept and all like that. Don't stress yourself out over it, because the stress, he believes, me too, to a certain extent, you get stressed, you get frazzled, your mind shuts down because you want it to be too perfect. It'll never be perfect, but as long as it's good enough and acceptable. And when I say perfect, pristine, perfect, no. But doing a painting that looks like a finished piece, and you go, okay, it's perfect, it's done. That's what I mean. So he said the same thing. Don't stress yourself out. You're supposed to have a good time with this. And you know what? I had a lot of fun with the humorous pieces, and I had a lot of fun with the other pieces where I had the good idea, and it came together and worked right away. I was able to do them and not worry about, I got to rethink this, or this isn't working. Why isn't it? No, it flowed like water. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the little discussion that I had with this and showing you all the pieces. That's my review. Am I satisfied? Yes, I'm satisfied. Do I like what I did? Yeah, I'm proud. I'll take it to anywhere and I'll show people. Say, hey, this is what I did. And when people will go to me, well, what about this or what about that? I can explain it and say it wasn't a success. And guess what? I'm okay with that. I never used to be okay with that. I used to be like, oh my God, every piece has got to be a masterpiece. No. Sometimes you succeed and sometimes you fail, but you learn from the failures. And that's the whole thing. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Cézanne, Rubens, Jackson Pollock, Norman Rockwell. They all didn't hit home runs with doing their art. They failed sometimes, but they knew that, why did it fail? They analyzed it and said, okay, I got to do this better. Same with me. Like I told you, some of the things the idea and the execution were the thing, but sometimes the techniques, you're not as adept as you are with other things. And I learned that I learned during this past month, that's what I have to do. I have to learn how to do fog. I have to learn how to do, like with the Witchy Woman, I have to learn, think about the colors, the contrasting colors. That's another thing. Think about my values, light, mid-tone, dark. That would help. So I learned some stuff, and I hope to apply that to the next drawings that I show you, or the next time, like DJ, he did Promptober. We all, and we're part of that club, the Draw or Die Club. He took a vote, and we were talking about possibly doing this on a quarterly basis, which would be really good because you could do different things. Promptober, usually it's October, so it's kind of Halloween based. And I feel that, if you do it quarterly, like you'll do Promptober, and then you do Promptober in January, which would be, say, all right, it's the new year. So, you do all sorts of prompts, say, with new in it, or new and exciting or something. I don't know. Well, it'll be figured out. But thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And as they say in the funny papers and in the comics, to be continued.